Hidalgo and Cameron County all meet, so be mindful of some of this rain along 69, even some sprinkles along I-2. And of course, this is all related to that mess we have going on in the tropics. Right now, it is a broad area of low pressure, but it has a high chance of developing into a named storm over the next 7 days. I'm going to have all the details you need to know coming up.
Thanks for those updates, Jessica. Now, after a weekend of dueling campaign events, President Biden and former President Donald Trump continue to round up party support this week. The former president was in Detroit meeting with African-American voters. He told the crowd President Biden's immigration policies are hurting minority communities. Meanwhile, the Biden campaign was in L.A. for a fundraiser that featured former President Barack Obama. President Biden has this to say when asked why this election is important.
The next president is likely to have 2 new Supreme Court nominees. 2 more. He's already appointed 2 that have been very negative in terms of the rights of individuals. The idea that if he's reelected, he's going to appoint 2 more flying flags upside down is really, I really mean it.
He's been the worst president for black people. He's been the worst president for Hispanic people.
A few minutes, we'll bring you a full report on weekend presidential campaigning. Now, our Capitol correspondent Hannah Brandt will join us live with those details. And today is an important federal tax deadline for people who are self-employed, business owners, freelancers, or gig workers, people whose taxes are not withheld by their employers in their paychecks and whose tax liability is expected to reach more than $1,000 are required to pay quarterly taxes to the IRS. Failure to pay on time could result in penalties. The IRS says 14 million taxpayers sent in payments last year compared to just over 12 million the year before. And in your state news, the House passed $895 billion package to fund the military for next year. Now, it comes at a time when one Texas congressman is warning of growing threats across the globe. Our Ryan Chandler spoke with Michael McCall about how the United States can encourage peace.
Michael McCall sees a risk of war on multiple fronts.
The world's on fire right now with 2 hot wars in a hot zone in the Pacific.
In Taiwan this month, McCall projected solidarity with their new president as China weighs an invasion. If they were to move on Taiwan today, are we ready to counter that aggression?
I think we are ready. I don't know if Taiwan is. I sign off on all the foreign military weapon sales. 22 of them weapon systems that have yet to go into Taiwan, so that's a serious concern.
McCall spearheaded recent aid packages for Taiwan, Ukraine, and Israel, often having to overcome doubts from his own party. This week in Washington, President Trump criticized Ukraine aid to his House colleagues. What do you think a second Trump administration would mean for Ukraine and for America's role in that war?
He says that it wouldn't have happened if he were in the White House, and I tend to agree with that, but also we have to give them what they need to win this thing.
After observing the 80th anniversary of D-Day in Normandy, McCall said the West is at risk once again.
People ask me what keeps me up at night. I don't want to experience a world war like my father's generation did.
What do you think the odds of that are if the United States does not act in the ways you believe we should?
If we don't show deterrence, dictators will continue to take advantage of that. Weakness invites aggression, and conflict and war, and you project strength, you get peace.
The National Defense Authorization Act provides pay raises and quality of life improvements for troops in Texas. McCall says that the legislation will still need to get through the Senate.
All right, you guys, as you are planning out your day, we're looking at 83 degrees at 8 a.m., 94 at 5 p.m., isolated showers. We've already seen a couple sprinkles, but honestly, today is going to be the